Hey, take off your clothes.
Hi, my name's Metavan AJ. You know the drill. AJ, why Psychopaths? Why now? Yes, I'm well aware I'm a little late to the party on this one, but only just. Recently, for one of my film assignments, I had to compare, contrast, and analyze this show, and say some intellectual stuff about it. And then I thought to myself, why don't I dirty this show's honor some more and do a little video on it? I get to write a mediocre essay on it, and then spend a ridiculous amount of time putting together a video on it. It's a win-win. Oh, wait, that actually sounds like a lose-lose. Psychopaths is kinda really good. That's it. That's the review done. Pack it up. Go home. No, like everyone else, I'm here to tell you why it's worth your precious time. Even if I spend a majority of a video bashing something, if I am here presenting it to you, then that must mean there is something inherently redeeming about it. So what does this mean in the case of Psychopaths? Well, I hope you like public displays of affection. I'm about to love Psychopaths long and hard, and you're gonna watch. Psychopaths is set in a dystopian future and follows this little cutie, Inspector Akane Cinnamoni, and her partner in stopping crime, boy toy, Shinya Kogami. The premise behind this dystopian setting is that people are given a number called a crime coefficient, a number that calculates your criminal potential. This number is influenced by multiple factors, but is mostly tied to one's mental health. This is then measured on a color scale and you are given your psychopath's hue, which is all handled by a supercomputer named Sybil. Thus, people live their lives playing a game of Sybil Says out of fear. Should your crime coefficient rise too high, you are labeled as a latent criminal and are sentenced to a life in prison. The only way you are granted freedom is to serve in the Public Safety Bureau as an enforcer, a latent criminal whose sole purpose is to hunt down others like them. Enforcers and their caretaking inspectors carry special guns, known as dominators, that can immediately determine anyone's crime coefficient. If it is high, they are stunned and sent away to rehab facilities. If it is irredeemably high though, they are killed on the spot. Psychopaths' storytelling strength comes from the simplicity of its premise. When you have a decent story to tell, you don't need to oversaturate the viewer with unnecessary lore and world-building excess. I hate to go 2 for 2 in bringing up Avatar in anime reviews, but it's similar stuff. When you have a simple, airtight premise, you don't need to fuck with establishing complex rules and lore. You can jump straight to the good stuff like characterization, character arcs, and an interesting list of plot events. It's the reason an Agni Kai is still going to have more of an emotional impact than just about any mid-story arc Naruto fight. It doesn't need to drag its feet because, well in advance, the story knows where it's going. Psychopaths' premise is simple and the rules of its world are consistent, meaning when they finally break those rules, it's actually compelling and mind-blowing. Unlike something similar, like Blade Runner, it doesn't need to hide behind an air of pretentiousness to disguise a paper-thin plot. Psychopaths' plot is meaty and thick, kind of like a particular maternal figure I know. While Psychopaths excels by simply possessing a plot that goes somewhere, it does lack in other places. The art style for one in this current anime landscape is entirely generic and uninspired. The color palette for the majority of the dialogue scenes is drab and depressing, but I have a feeling this was done intentionally to tie in with the show's theme. It's consistent to say the least, but a dash of contrast would have gone a long way. However, the biggest gripe I have is actually the framing. So many times throughout viewing, Psychopaths I just wish that someone would zoom in some of these shots, or even change the aspect ratio to tighten up that framing. Psycho Pass is so close to gorgeous framing that it hurts me. But hey, I'm just a guy doing first year film for the second time in a row. I also feel that the set of characters aren't the most exciting to see on screen. Don't get me wrong. Each and every character often exhibits a beautiful emotional dichotomy through their character arcs, and greatly contribute to the overall narrative. All I'm saying is, the characters you see are only compelling because of the compelling narrative's events. If this were the same cast of characters in a slice of life show, you probably wouldn't be putting in the same hours with them. The show also doesn't seem to have a soundtrack. Okay, well, that's a lie. But its presence wasn't felt. Whether or not this is a bad thing, I haven't quite decided, but the addition of its presence certainly wouldn't ruin the mood. For myself, I was just way too sucked into what was unfolding on screen to take any notice of any compositions. Psycho Pass is sleek, sexy, and smart. So smart that the show opens up with these two yaoi fodder insulting each other by quoting philosophers. Oh yeah, and it has a bunch of deep themes neatly packed under the hood too. While the show may lack in the presentation department, it doesn't care. Psycho Pass certainly ain't the looker, but she's got substance. A rarity these days. Its sci-fi world remains grounded, and while some might not like the excessive dialogue scenes, the show will always sit down with you and explain what is unfolding, making it incredibly accessible for those who aren't fans of Chinese cartoons. I personally haven't seen season 2 as of writing this, but if it's even a fraction as good as what was presented to me in these 22 episodes, then I guess I can give that a thumbs up too. So, do I recommend Psycho Pass? Yeah. More than Oxygen. That shit, plentiful. But an anime with a decent, meaningful plot in this sea of mediocre slice of end my life anime, that stuff, premium.